Commander Legends pack. I guess I forgot to open this one. Let's wrap it open and see what the... Oh, I guess it was in the set after all. Whoa, someone calling me. Oh, hey, Vince, are you ready to do a Dies to Removal?
Are you ready to do the podcast episode for Streets of New Capenna?
Streets of New Capenna, that's ancient history.
No, Brian, it's literally the current standard set.
Well, it's ancient history as far as I'm concerned. The podcast needs to be on the latest Commander set, so we're doing it on Commander Legends 2.
I can see why you're confused by the name, Brian, but the latest Commander set is Double Masters 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, hang on a sec. They're previewing Dominaria United on a live stream, I think right now.
Wait, is that a joke? I'm not even sure. I can't even tell anymore.
I can't even tell anymore.
I can't think of an extra line. Do I just stare into camera in disgust?
I think that works. Hello and welcome to Dies to Removal, the Magic the Gathering podcast, where I am joined as always by my co-host Vince, otherwise known as Pleasant Kenobi. Vince, how you doing?
I'm good, Brian. I'm in the UK, if people haven't noticed by the current layout of the screen and or our headphones. We are not local to one another right now.
Yes, well, I'm very sorry, but we have to talk about this while it's still timely, so we couldn't wait to get you out for a visit. Commander Legends 2. Oh my goodness, I have so much to say about this set. There's so much we need to discuss. You and I, it just went on shelves about a week ago.
It did.
We're talking Commander Legends 2, right? Is that the topic?
No, we're too slow, old man. Double Masters 2. Although there's an announcement as we're speaking. We don't know what it is yet. So this also might be out of date, because you might have Dominaria United, Brothers War, or something else to talk about as well. But we're going to try... We're going to try and pick a point in time and go with it. And at the moment, the zeitgeist, the conversation is around Double Masters hype, price and reprints and such.
So for those watching at home, the current date that we're recording this is Thursday, June 30th. And I am going to try and have this up on Tuesday after we have the American holiday weekend where we've declared our independence from the British, from the hated British. And after we have our big American celebration of that, this episode should go up, and maybe they will have started previews for Dominaria United. Oh my God.
I genuinely think by the time this goes up, we're going to have at least seen one card for the next set. And that sounds like we're just doing a bit and taking the mick, but we're not. This is actually how these things work. Because don't forget, everyone, Legends, as you joked at the beginning, came out on the Saturday, and by the Thursday we were at Double Masters previews. Now, at least it's not new cards, though. At least it's not new cards. This is all reprints. There's a bit of a less of a load. So where do you want to start with this powder keg of excitement?
It's too expensive. It's too expensive is where I want to start.
It is pretty dear. I mean, that is not a hot take.
No. I've got a question for you. So here is the current prices, and I'm pulling them up again. This is right on here. On TCG Player, the online marketplace, not sponsor of either of us, but it's a good indicator of what cost is. And as of this second, if you would like a booster box of Double Masters, that'll cost you $350. I'll repeat that because it bears repetition. $350 for a booster box of Double Masters, or if you want just a pack, you can pick one up for $17. $17.
Absolute bargain.
Wow. A collector booster box, and I'm going to do this for box, because a box of collector boosters is 4 booster packs. So apparently 4 booster packs is a box. Those 4 packs will cost you $275, or you could just pick up 1 pack for $75. Now, 75 times 4 is $300, so you are saving yourself $25 by buying in bulk. And by bulk, I mean 4, a box of 4 packs. Vince?
So, if you want a discount, Brian, buy them in the UK, because ours are only £10, which is $12 at current conversion. Absolute deal. Also, our Amazon isn't even giving a discount right now. The 4-pack is just the price of 4 collector packs. Amazon.co.uk, which is pretty funny. Yeah, it's pretty expensive, Brian. But isn't this the norm, though? It's a Master set.
No, this isn't the...
hideous?
Master sets are $9.99 a pack. And then they were $13.67 a pack. Now they're going close to $18, which means that Double Masters is almost truly double the price of what Masters sets.
That's a good point then. The first Double Masters, because obviously the argument for why these are dearer than other Masters sets is because there's more cards. That's one of the arguments. Or more rares. Because of course when you print a rare, it costs more printer ink, right? We all know this. The ink in a rare Magic card is more expensive than the ink in an unrare Magic card. This is why things get upshifted, Brian, because they found out that since the Divine Top was printed with the wrong ink. Anyway, how much were the packs for original Double Masters? Do you remember? Were they not the same price for the just draft boosters? The draft booster.
I don't have the price in front of me. Okay. We can put it on the screen, but I guarantee you the price on the screen right now is less than $18 a pack.
But it wasn't for their collector version. In a weird way, they decided to really push the boat out with a VIP, right? Where it was like 2 boosters in a box for $100. Like
it was a VIP booster was $100.
There you go. So
right,
their collectors were dearer. Their normal boosters were slightly cheaper. So this set is simultaneously one of the dearest sets and not the dearest because the collector boosters are a bit better deal this time around.
Well, VIP boosters was, that was insane because the booster only had, I think, 2 regular rares and then 2 borderless rares, and then they stuffed it full of land. It was unbelievable. They're like, it's a booster pack of 15 cards, but 11 of them are lands. So,
full art
or whatever
lands.
It was.
Again, more ink.
Oh, more ink. This is the most, going by draft booster boxes and draft booster packs, I believe it is fair for me to say this is the most expensive Master set, or I guess Magic the Gathering set ever printed. And it's possibly going to get more expensive if the rumors of no additional print runs are true. However, there's also rumors that they are going to print more. Who knows? Only future rage will inform us of this. But nonetheless, I want to ask you a question, Vince. At what point, because I always say, it's too expensive, this is outrageous, it's too expensive, this is outrageous, and people just say, you say that all the time, Professor. You say that all the time. You said that when they raised the price of Masters packs from $6.99 to $9.99, from $9.99 to $13.99.
Stop booing him, he's right.
Yes. How much is too much? At what point will people stop giving me crap for complaining? At what point will people stop saying I'm an old man yelling at clouds, and will they finally say, my God, he's right. $400 a box, $400 a box, $450 a box, $500 a box. How much until everybody shuts up and agrees with me? That's what I want to know.
It sounds like you're more concerned with people agreeing with you than the actual ethics of charging us insane money for luxury cardboard.
It can be both.
So do you want the pragmatic and honest answer for reality, or do you want my opinion? Which one do you want?
Which one agrees with me?
Well, I agree. This is why this is going to be a bad podcast episode, because we're not going to disagree on anything. We're going to agree on how ludicrous all this stuff is. Okay, so I think this is absolutely ridiculous. And I also have a problem with it being to the point that it sort of starts to delete the entry-level option for people. We'll come more to that in a moment when we talk more about reprints and stuff. The pragmatic thing is, when is enough is when it stops selling. That's when enough is enough. And they've been doing this, the secret lair with the fetch lands in it. They were stuck on store shelves in quite a few game stores because no one wanted the thing because it's too expensive. So they pushed the line as far as they could go, and they're backpedaling from there. They're trying to figure out where in that no man's land can they go. And VIP Booster is the same. VIP Booster was dumb and expensive, the collector version of the last Double Masters, and they've pulled back now, and they're trying this with collector. The problem we've got now, Brian, is because they're so short on stock, it will sell out, and they will tell everyone when we keep criticising. They'll tell us in 3 weeks' time, 2 months' time, they're going to say, oh, but it sold amazingly, it sold out. Because always their response to criticism is that it's sold out, it's sold well. Of course it's going to sell out. There's not enough to fulfill demand. So they're already setting themselves up like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I hope this burns them later. I hope they overprint Double Masters 3, they push the price, they can't shift it, and it burns them. And maybe at that point we see some of the hubris in check. Because it is getting absurd.
What are they going to make of the data? I don't know how well Commander Legends sold, but I think Commander Legends must have been perceived as less than ideal, right? It must have been perceived. I mean, at one point here in the US, stores were liquidating set booster boxes for $80, which is probably a bad thing.
Is this the first?
They had to do that.
The first Legends or the second? Sorry.
That's the second.
Oh, the current one. Yeah. Again,
the recent one.
They've cannibalized the sales, though, right? Because they put it out, and then anyone who's not gone to the store within the first 4 days is now online looking at not mana crypts, but Imperial Seals and stuff. Those people don't want to crack Legends boxes now. It's like when games companies release a game on the same day as like Battlefield or Call of Duty, and they're like, oh, this independent game that we released underperformed. You released it on the same day as the thing that everyone buys, like Madden or FIFA. They're doing that, but it's the same company doing it to itself almost. It's absurd. Right. They're setting up Legends to fail, and then Double Masters will look like that's the problem, Brian. The normal priced one will fail because of this. The extreme priced one will succeed and outdo expectations of selling every unit, and they're going to look at that data and be like, guess we should put the price up.
Yeah, I don't know. I am getting very sick of criticism being answered with because it's sales, because we're making so much money. Even a recent question to Mark Rosewater about going back to the 3-block structure, where we can superimpose this here. Someone asked a very reasonable question saying, hey, I feel like we don't get to enjoy sets anymore. This is a growing thing in the community. Is this being perceived outside of the conversation on Reddit and Twitter? And Rosewater's response was, no, we're making more sales than ever. Single block sets are what must be doing it. And the idea that you're going to dismiss criticism of just single plane sets with it's selling, it's just like, well, then you can't talk about anything, because that's very superfluous. That's mostly relating to flavor, to setting, to the aesthetics. That's not talking about reprint value. That's not talking about price. That's just saying, hey, I think it's more of a aesthetic funness for me to enjoy and learn a plane if we get to be on it for 2, maybe 3 sets instead of just 1. And the answer is, we're making so much money, it has to be 1 set. And it's just like, you can't criticize anything then. Yeah,
there's an argument of correlation and causation, right, as well? Like, just because they're making money hand over fist and things are selling, don't forget there are more players coming to the game than ever. Arguably, it could just be Arena has caused that, and then everything else just happens to have happened at the same time, right? It doesn't mean they've caused this. It doesn't mean that Single Block has caused this. It doesn't mean that Walking Dead is... Well, Walking Dead's a different one. Or Double Masters has caused this. It could be we just have more players than ever, so whatever you throw out there will sell in some capacity, right? So it's not always... correlation doesn't necessarily mean or imply causation, if I'm getting that the right way around.
Also, here's a concept. It is possible to be popular and having a great product that is selling hand over fist and simultaneously have areas within that product that are not being done correctly and can be improved upon. We can have these two seemingly contradictory thoughts exist at once, where it's like, maybe if we actually got to spend more time on a plane, maybe we might be able to sell even more or improve the overall product. But we can't even talk about that.
I'm going to go for an extreme argument here, but once upon a time they started putting lead in fuel, but sales were through the roof. And when people was like, maybe this lead is bad for the environment and people, they're like, but we're just selling so much of it and we're cutting it with lead. So I know that's an extreme version of it, but it's the same thing, right? You can't dismiss all criticism simply on the back of sales. That's not how it works. Also, and we're going to get a bit wishy-washy here and a bit lefty, but imagine a world where we care about aesthetics and artistic integrity and narrative, as well as how much money the corporation can make, right?
Yeah.
Because no one knows what any of the sets are or what's in them. Like, Neon Dynasty was loved and everyone's like overwhelmingly saying how great it was. We spent 5 minutes there.
Right.
Like, we didn't really experience the setting, and that's the separate thing to like how much money you're making, but it's true. And also think if you're a designer at Wizards, Brian, and you spent all that time putting in all this flavour and theme about the worlds of Kaldheim. Fast forward 6 months, you do this quite a bit. You joke about how no one knows what they are. That's not unfair, because it's true. But think about if you spent 6 months fleshing out that concept. I feel bad for some of the world design team.
Vince, right now, we did not plan this ahead of time, so this is on the spot, no looking at your computer. Name the 5 gangs of New Capenna. What are the 5 crime houses? Name all 5.
I think I can do this. Obscura.
Okay, let's see it.
Obscura. Okay. Rivetit is.
Okay.
The Maestros.
Right.
So Maestros are Naya, Riveteers are Jund, Obscura are Grixis, or Esper. I can't do... can I do the other 2? This is the most exciting podcast you've ever seen, everyone, is Vince with his fingers up, like, grimacing. I don't think I can do the other 2. I thought I could do it.
There's one... I can do one of the missing ones. Cabaretti, right? Because
yes.
The Cabaretti. I only remember that because Sam was telling me that he had to say cabaretti with an American accent, and it was for his video, which you should check out if you haven't seen it already, that he had to say cabaretti without using the proper Italian pronunciation, and it drove him crazy for the video that he had to, instead of saying cabaretti, or however he would
do that every
pronounce
time.
it. What's the fifth one?
So is Obscura the Esper one? Or was it Grixis?
Oh, Vince, even I know that. That's Obscura is the Esper one.
So what is... Oh, Grixis is Maestro. So I get Maestro and Cabaret mixed up, and there's a criticism. Because to be a Maestro and to be in Cabaret feels both very, like, dancey, musician-y. So I feel like they should be the same. I do not know what that fifth one is. If it is,
I don't either. I think it's Dopey. Dopey.
Oh, it's the lawyers. It's the lawyers.
The lawyers.
It's the... Oh, what are they called? Because I
don't know.
I went in thinking I was them, and I turned out I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, lawyers? Birds and rhinos are cool, but lawyers, I'm out. So that is not me.
Right, yeah.
Bants.
Yeah, so this is my question to Mr. Rosewater in saying, like, oh, hey, well, just doing a single set and not staying for a second set on a plane is these sales. I'd say, okay, how good was the sales of New Capenna, and do you think that if we had done a second set on Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, if we had done a two-part set in the new Kamigawa, if that second Kamigawa set would have sold more than New Capenna? I'm willing to bet it would have, and that we could have learned a little bit more about Kamigawa, fleshed out the world more, enjoyed it, savored the flavor. But we're getting off topic because we're supposed to be talking about Double Masters.
Yeah, that is true. That is very... How the hell did we even get onto this?
Yeah, did you ever answer my question about how much until people agree with me?
When it stops selling. And
but how much is that? When will it stop selling?
So they've already tested VIP boosters, at least in the UK, were just stuck in cabinets for ages. So VIP boosters was the extreme that they could not sell at. And now they're back by about 20%. And these will sell out, not because it's a good deal, but because they're limited supply and everyone's got FOMO now, right? Maybe that's planned, in all fairness.
It's also a better design because the VIP ones, I know they were stuffing it full of like the John Avon full arts. They looked terrible. The cut on the border was weird. They looked like cheap proxies of them and like cheap proxies of them. But I think that the design of a collector booster, and everybody knows I don't like collector boosters, but I will acknowledge the design of a collector booster is way superior to those VIP packs. You're getting a much better experience. You're getting much better value and variety and such in a collector booster. And I'm willing to bet that collector boosters of Double Masters would have sold at $100 a pack. That the problem with VIP boosters is it was far too evident what a ripoff they were, and that collector boosters have got way more jam-packed into there, way more good bling and stuff. But
there's a value for money proposition, right? That's the other thing. So the $100 price point will sell if the people are buying it thinking they're getting their money's worth, and that money's worth is dictated by number of rares and then what the rares potentially can be, right?
Well, what about the draft boosters? How much is too much for a draft booster box, no matter what's in it?
They haven't explored the final line yet. They haven't pushed it far enough. They don't know. We don't know.
Do you think? Because Double Masters is an amazing set in isolation of price.
It looks incredible. Let's just throw that out there so people know, by the way, because I haven't watched another video on it.
Oh, I think it's the best set ever made in terms of just like a reprint set.
And I
think
love
it's the best set ever made.
I love Master sets. Like I have Modern Masters 1 and 3, and Ultimate Masters are 3 of my favorite sets to draft that have ever existed. I think they're phenomenal. This is probably the closest we've ever seen to like a cube self-contained in a set because of the quality of reprints at common, uncommon, and rare and mythic. Even I think this set looks amazing. The problem being the price. And to answer your question, I don't know. At this point, I'm like, I think premium products should be $1 or $2 more than the original price of a Magic booster. But again, I'm a filthy
liberal.
I don't know. SJW, I guess, is the term usually used on the internet. So I'm not all for like pushing the extremes of things. I also want players to be able to buy stuff. Collector boosters existing doesn't bug me when there's an entry point that seems reasonable.
Right.
The point that we double or triple price that entry point, I start to find collector boosters absurd and obnoxious as well. And that's what this Double Masters product shows, right? There is no entry level product. To draft it is going to cost you close to the price of a AAA video game, right? $40 almost. No, more than that. It's $17 a pack.
More.
It's crazy. At least in the
I've
UK,
seen some
it's 30.
people, I mean, like at $17 a pack, you times that by 3 and you factor in some prize support. if you're lucky, your store maybe is drafting for $50 with like standard packs price support.
It's insane. Like my local store can't fire them. So my local store can hardly fire drafts normally because a lot of Commander players who want to get their bang for their buck. The moment you ask them to pay 30 English pounds, which is like close to $50, they're out. They just nope out. There's no way they want to do it. So I can't get drafts locally to me. Also, no one can get the product as well. So that's now another issue on top of that. But
is it weird that for Commander Legends, which was supposedly a draft set, that they put all the emphasis on set boosters, but for Double Masters, which is really like you want to get these special pieces, you want to collect the cards that you want, there are no set boosters for Double Masters? Is that weird that there's no set boosters for Double Masters?
Of course, it's wild because
I'm not even saying I want it. I just think it's strange.
Yeah, because this is much more of a collectible set. Because it's very clear that you're meant to crack these and like run. These are just expensive lottery tickets, right? There is a draft environment, and the draft environment is probably very cultivated and very good because it's normally.
We'll never know because who can afford to draft it?
Well, if you want to tune into twitch.tv/President Kenobi Monday nights at 7 p.m. BST, I'll probably draft it for the next couple of months.
You have a Twitch channel? You have a Twitch stream? Oh my God, what a subtle plug of your Twitch stream.
Thank you. And I know you're not really aware of what streaming is because you're like a boomer YouTuber, but it's where all the support from Wizards of the Coast is, only on Twitch.
Is it like YouTube Live?
It is, but less discoverability, more ads and less money for those ads. Good old Amazon and Jeff Bezos. Yeah, it sounds terrible when you say it out loud, really. But anyway, so there's meant to be a draft environment. It will almost certainly be good because don't forget this is a collection of some of the best cards in Magic, and the designers of Magic know how this works, and they're picking out all their favorite things to make a draft environment, plus some expensive chase rares, right? So it's going to be sick. But then that is kind of like one of the purposes of Master Sets. But that's defeated if no one can afford to bloody play it, and there's no product to play it either, and people are just cracking it to sell singles on the secondary market as well. Like, it's one goal that they always talk about is this limited environment, and no one gets to play it. That's the question I had for you. What do you perceive the goal of a Master Set to be? What is it meant to achieve?
It's meant to make as much money as possible for Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, that's Wizards, yes, of course, that's Wizards wording. What do you believe it should do? What do you think what is a successful Master Set in your eyes? What should it do for the game?
A successful Masters set should take reprints from throughout Magic's history that either are just in general desperately in need of being reprinted, as in their prices getting too high. By too high, I mean anything over $20 is too high. And even some cards that are below $20 that maybe are cards that would not fit as reprints into a standard set easily, do not seem to find homes easily. And so a reprint set is to take both needed reprints and hard to reprint cards, as well as just fan favorites, fun ones, things that just haven't been reprinted, and to reprint them and offer them in booster packs that probably should cost, I'm going to say, twice the cost of a standard booster pack. I'm going to go up a little bit. I'm going to say, so if a booster pack costs me $4, a reprint set should cost me $8.
Okay. And also, what you're saying there, by the way, for people who don't know, lines up with what Wizards of the Coast said originally when they launched the Masters sets with Modern Masters 1. Their goal that they put on the internet, which is still up now, is to make Modern more accessible. That isn't the
goal. I can't believe they haven't taken that down. I can't believe they haven't taken it down.
I guess there's an argument that Modern Masters does that and all the other Master sets are just free for all or whatever. So I agree with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with Wizards. This should make accessibility of the game better, and a limited print run, extremely expensive set does neither of those things, because I do genuinely believe the majority of cards in this set, especially the Mythics, are just not going to budge, or they're going to dip and then just going to rebound back up to where they are. This is going to do nothing to prices, barring things that have been incredibly rare, like the Three Kingdoms stuff.
Sure.
They are so scarce, yeah.
We do have a little bit of precedence, so I'm currently writing my Is It Worth It to Buy Double Masters 2022. I have a YouTube series called Is It Worth It to Buy? Yeah, you should check that one out. So I am doing the research on that one right now, and one thing that we're looking at is what happened prior. And looking at the original Double Masters, we saw the dip. So far, looking at the data, without giving away what's going to be in the video, is that the original Double Masters did have a dip in prices, which then returned on many, not all, of those reprints to not quite where they were, but close So this allowed a period of time where if you were playing the game and you were purchasing packs to crack or to draft or to play sealed or to get a box as a special graduation present or something, you had, or to just trade with friends who were doing this, you had a period of time in that dip where the expensive cards were, well, not cheap, more affordable. And then everybody who owned the reprinted cards or obtained them for the first time then got to benefit from that dip rising. My question to you is if that happens this time, isn't that pretty good? That's like everybody wins. No, you want it permanently tanked.
No. So there's a few issues with that. One, it's rebounding to near similar prices, right? And the example people give often are the cards. Like Timeliness is one that I talked about in a video recently, because Timeliness got 5 reprints and a box topper and got pushed out to obscurity in formats before it became affordable, and it's still over $20. It's still over $20 after 6 reprints and being almost unplayable in most formats. It's crazy, right? So some of the examples, the ones that have been hammered with reprints, are still bad. Second to that, I don't think that Magic should have this cyclical, like, waiting for the train to arrive to jump on, and if you miss the train, you stood around for 3 years waiting for the next chance to get into older formats.
If the train comes regularly, then that a big problem?
But it just doesn't, though.
Well, yeah, sure.
It's in the current guise is not regular enough. And this is like what I was coming to, is that I think reprints are one of the fundamental things that are such a big aspect of Magic in terms of keeping people out of the game. People can get into casual Commander, and at that point, getting into even Standard can be difficult, but Modern and Legacy, people in the comments are going to say those things are dying, because in some ways, Wizards aren't trying to keep them alive, because they're not reprinting in a meaningful way. And they're putting more and more cards every single year. We've seen the data, right? Q April has put up that Skyfall dig that she did, like, just not exponentially, but close to. Every year, we're getting like 1,000 more new cards. We're getting more new cards than ever. We've got more product than ever, but they're not changing their reprint strategy in any way. So what's happening is, I was saying this on Twitter, this set has no Modern Horizons 2 cards in it. Everyone's like, don't be silly, Vince. It's too soon. I'm like, why is it too soon? At this point, they can change their strategy. They can say, we knew these dozen cards are probably going to be staples. Stick them in there. They just reprint more often and more commonly to keep older formats alive. Or those formats are just premium crap that most people can't get into because they're too bloody expensive.
Yeah.
And that sucks. That sucks. Because I hate being told that the formats that I love are dying, and I hate being told that people can't get into it, and I hate doing a video and people going, this was fun, but I'll never be able to afford this. It is just ridiculous. And Magic gets away with it too. Magic gets away with it. Warhammer's always got people online going, oh, such an expensive hobby. And Magic gets a bit of that, but not in the same way. It gets away with it. It's so weird. It's so strange.
They can't keep getting away with it. Yeah. Well, what better time to start Pauper? Start playing Pauper.
No one cares about Pauper, Brian. That one YouTube commenter told you that no one cares.
I got 150,000 views in 24 hours on that Pauper video. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I guess no one cares about Pauper.
The dozen Pauper players each watched it 100 times or 100.
They really like supporting their format.
1,000 times
They really
each.
like supporting their format. If only we could get those numbers for Legacy. Oh, well.
Well, we would if the cards weren't incredibly expensive. And I'm not even talking about Reserve List. I'm talking about Furies and Force of Negation. Oh, Force of Negation's in this set.
Wait, it got reprinted. It got reprinted.
Is it at Mythic? No.
Yes, it's at Rare. I remember.
In which case, upshift it. We might see a bit of a dip. But then again, maybe none of this will get opened.
It'll go back. It's going to go back up because we need that card in Modern and Legacy and other formats, and those are the cards that everybody gobbles up because they're played everywhere. They're not just played in one. This
is why the seal really bugs me. As an example, right? Everyone is absolutely losing their minds about Imperial Seal getting reprinted. A card from Portal 3 Kingdoms that some people are saying there's less copies of Portal 3 Kingdom rares than there are for like revised rares. We don't know the actual numbers, but it's super rare, and it was like $1,800 for a copy, and this is
and it's a terrible card.
And it's strictly worse Vampiric Tutor, which is $30 now. Anyway, so it gets reprinted, and it's currently pre-ordering at $300. I think that will actually crash because there's going to be an influx of, minimum, I was saying 25%, people are saying like 50 times the number that existed. That card is not important. It's played nowhere. It's not legal in older formats, and no one cares about it. It's not helping anyone to do anything. Meanwhile, Force of Negation's had like one older form printing, and this is its first reprinting, and it's been in the game for 2 years and it's played in 2 different formats as a staple. Scalding Tarn is currently sitting at $27, and it's a land that most decks need. I still think 27 is too much for a land. Like, who actually cares?
Thank God it's 27, but
like, who cares about Warrior's Oath and Seal? Who cares?
I know. Well, but wouldn't you rather have Imperial Seal at $400 and Scalding Tarn at $20. Isn't that what we should do? Scalding Tarn should be $20 flat, and Imperial Seal, it's not a good card. It's $400. Tarmogoyf, one deck that doesn't even see that good results anymore, uses it in all of Magic. I don't care if that's $100 each. Who cares? You don't need Tarmogoyf to play Modern, but I need a Scalding Tarn to play Modern.
But that's the problem. The splashy mythics, like Seal and this stupid red extra turn spell, they get all the press. Even I did a quick video about it, and I regret doing that already now. Because they get all the press, and it kind of like, it distracts from the fact. But there are good examples. Like Mana Drain's in this set, and Mana Drain has been reprinted enough now that it's sub $30 to $40 or whatever, when it was a $100 card the last time I opened one. So sometimes it works, but it takes like 3 master sets of reprints. So it's like 6 years of reprinting Mana Drain, and we've finally got it at a price that is reasonable. Although if you asked a non-Magic player if one piece of cardboard in your 100 card or 60 card deck being 30 or 40 bucks is reasonable, they would think you're insane. So don't forget, we're already within a system where it's all mad anyway. I just think their reprint policy is outdated and it's still not good enough.
It's never going to be, because I think their reprint policy is what's making them a fortune. And I think that the way that they reprint cards, that if they reprinted cards in order to get them into players' hands so that players could play the game, Secret Layers would not sell. That Secret Layers sell in large part because you need that card and you like the art. But if they did a secret layer, if they did a secret layer where it was just like 10-cent cards, like it's a Spell Pierce and it's a 4 other cards of that price, people would laugh. It needs something of value.
At the same time, though, so there's the concept of reprint equity, very quickly, people who don't know, is the idea that you have valuable cards, they reprint them all too much, they have no more valuable cards to reprint, no way to hype sets, no way to sell secret layers, like you're saying, right? That's the idea of reprint equity. I believe at the point we're at now, where we're getting more cards than ever, more sets than ever, and like they've not got Modern Horizons, they just print super staples for Modern every 2 years, right? They've got so much equity in the bank. There are just so many expensive cards in Magic that they could go ham on some of this reprinting, way more than they do. And I still think they'd have that room to do what you're saying, where they have to put desirable stuff in secret layers. I wonder if they are still in the mindset that they've only releasing a certain amount of cards, if that makes sense. I don't even know if there's a thing that anyone consciously is doing at Wizards. We have to say that.
Oh, they do. They have actual economists that work at Wizards that study the second. They do. They have actual economists, full-time PhD.
See, I've heard this, but I didn't want to throw that out there unless it's just a rumor. I've heard this.
Okay, it's a rumor as far as I don't know.
Okay.
Let us know in the comments.
I thought you were blowing the lid off.
Challenge. I have a challenge to everyone watching this. If there is any concrete proof that there is a full-time economist employed at Wizards of the Coast to study the Magic the Gathering economy in any capacity, and there's been any official proof that this exists, post a link to that official proof in the comments. And if there is no official proof, then that means that this is only a rumor. So if the pinned comment that you see on this video is not a link to official proof, then that means this is just a rumor that we have heard, that they do employ full-time economists to study this, because it's important, because if Magic cards were all worth 10 cents, it would be bad for the game. It would be bad for sales. It would be bad for the bottom line.
They could not sell double masters at that point. Because don't forget, everyone, the reason it's worth money is because a secondary market exists. Not because some cards are more desirable than others, but because a secondary market exists where some of these cards are $100. Right? If that didn't happen, they could not push the price up like they're doing. So of course they've got to keep some equity in the bank. Of course they have.
Do you want to know something crazy? A pack of Double Masters is currently selling for $18 US. A collector booster for a normal standard set, meaning all it has in it is standard cards, a collector booster for a normal standard set is $24.99, which means that a collector booster for standard cards is still costing more than the most expensive Masters set ever.
I mean, the EV can't be there, surely.
It's not. I've opened it on my collector booster box madness ones. It's not there.
You have a video series called Booster Box Madness? Wait, is it called that? I didn't know that's a series you've got.
Every time I do the collector boosters, I call it like All Hope is Lost. I call it like Enter the Void.
Yeah,
the abyss.
Hope.
The abyss
hope,
awaits us all.
The
abyss awaits us. Things like that. But
those become themselves. I mean, is that mad, or is that just like showing how like crap collector boosters actually are? Because at that point, if you put them in front of me and I was forced at gunpoint to buy one of these two things, I'd be like, well, I'm buying the Double Masters because I've got a much better gamble at getting my money back, and that's why this will sell out, because people love a good gamble.
I guess they do. I like a gamble. I've also said this before, is that I am okay with there being a gambling aspect to Magic.
Absolutely.
I just wish they'd rein it in. I am okay with slot machines, but the slot machines should cost 25 cents, not $250.
Or you're gambling on cosmetics. Like if you open a foil, inverse foil, reflecto foil, bob foil, whatever the hell it's called, of an Emrakul, and that's worth like $200. Like the War of the Spark Liliana, the Japanese one, that was
that's super so cool.
Hard to get. Yeah. Those things, cool. But when your base level, like entry Force of Negation, before this reprint was $100, and now it's like $60, I think it's pre-ordering for. That's not a promo. That's one of a playset of 4 that you need, inverted commas. Not on this is real need, it's a game. But no, the collectibles should be the gambling, not the bloody basic game pieces.
In terms of game pieces, does Double Masters actually have game pieces? Because you mentioned that Masters series started as Modern Masters to bring us pieces for Modern, but now everyone's joking that this is called Commander Masters, and it certainly has a lot of cool Commander reprints. Is Double Masters serving Modern? Is Double Masters serving Legacy, or is this just pieces for Commander? And if so, isn't there a problem in that, or perhaps several problems in that?
Yeah, I think the Modern's an interesting one because it goes back to the Horizons problem I mentioned earlier. That they're reprinting like Liliana the Last Hope as a mythic in this set, which is like it's like a $12 to $20 card. However, it's only holding a price because it's Liliana. That card doesn't see any play in Modern anymore because it's been outclassed by all these Modern Horizons cards. So this set is already behind the curve in printing things like Liliana the Last Hope that isn't seeing much play, if any play, because they are like the Modern cards of a year and a half to maybe 2.5 years ago, because Modern Horizons is out doing everything. It's the Modern Horizons problem again. Legacy a bit better. Like Allosaurus Shepherd was like an absurd price because only in Jumpstar. That's in here. There are some good reprints in here on occasion. But yeah, it does, if we're honest, it is the set with all the Commander staples, right? Commander Legends was not. Commander Legends had like 2 reprints of any merit, and even then they were like okay ones. I do genuinely believe, and this is just a theory from me, tinfoil hat or whatever, I feel like other sets have been cannibalized for this. Like the Senses Divining Top has got Neon Dynasty style art, so that was going to be in one of the Commander decks, or even Associated Secret Lair is important to this. Smothering Tithe could have been in multiple sets, but it definitely could have been in Baldur's Gate. Dogside Extortionist, it's a Goblin Pirate, it should have been in Baldur's Gate.
Yes.
And it's not. Like, there is no doubt in my mind
it should have been a new Capenna.
Stuff. Yeah.
It should have been a new Capenna.
And there is an argument, by the way, that there are loads of cards in this set that are themed around cool things in Magic's history, which I think is very good. Talking about good things. Like, the food chain has Peluquenos on it. The Aether Vial has Dak Faden reaching for the masterpiece Aether Vial. There are very cool callbacks to Magic's lore. It's got a reverence for Magic's lore, and I think that is fantastic, and there's a massive props to the art direction. So there's an argument that I just said about the Senses Divining Top is that. It's just a reference to a set. It's a set that happened like 3 minutes ago. I don't know if you're making deep cut references to something that happened 3 minutes ago. I'm just saying I don't think that was the case.
Yeah, I feel that way too, and I feel that what they've done is they kind of took what we're, like you said, cannibalizing other sets, and now it's like, okay, Modern is Modern Horizons. You don't need reprints for Modern. What you need is new cards for Modern. Modern now rotates with each Horizons set. Currently, looking at Modern, I need Horizons cards to play it, and I think the new Horizons is going to push out the old Horizons cards, so that way I have to buy the new Horizons, and that's Modern. So that's what Modern Horizons is doing. Masters set, it's for Commander. Legends is not for reprints. Commander Legends 1 was 50% reprints. This one was barely 10% reprints. And it's just for new cards for Commander, new cards that you have to have for Commander, reprints that you have to have for Commanders and Masters. Why would we put them both in the same place? And let us not forget that they wanted Commander Legends to be a premium priced product. It was only due to a lack of interest that it ended up not being one. that mean old hand of the secondary market smacks back from time to time.
And also names don't mean anything either, right? Because
right.
that's the this is going off the topic a little bit, but Legends is just been and gone, so it's technically the podcast topic if we were doing topical stuff, right? Because it's only a week ago. But Legends 2 has been set up to fail in many ways. One of which is people have expectations of what Commander Legends is, and they come into this, and it's just not that. It's just not that. And it's the same with Masters to an extent. We're talking about the original mission statement was to make things accessible, and it no longer is. And we see this is all summarised with a little bow by, what's the foil name? Etched foil, which means a different thing every set. Nothing means anything. Every word is just to confuse and obfuscate. It's wild how, as a content creator, I just shrug sometimes. People ask me how many cards are in that booster pack. I'm like, it's 15, 17, or 20. I'm not sure.
And what's their ratio, division, whatever?
What's in a collector booster? I don't know. It changes all the time. But yeah, names don't really mean anything. We are doing a proper Shouting at Clouds episode here, and it's good to do it on occasion. So I apologise for anyone who's thinking we're being too negative, but a lot of this is just true. This is just the truth.
If Double Masters is just serving Commander, why does anybody need to buy Double Masters? Because for Commander, you can just proxy. This is beautiful stuff. I'm going to hit Control P. Is there any, Modern and Legacy and even Pauper, you need to have the actual card because you're playing in a sanctioned event, and that is fair is fair. Fine. But Commander, I'll just, that art looks cool. I'll just print that.
I was starting to wonder, and this might be a video that I end up making, so sneak peek for a future thing. I'm starting to wonder if the pushing in price and the piss poor reprints for other sets ends up pushing people towards proxying more.
Yeah, of course. It's pushed me towards. I got some proxies recently. I was putting a bunch of expensive cards in a deck, and I just proxied it massively.
That screws reprint equity out the window, right? Reprint equity is only a concept that works if people want the originals. If everyone starts proxying stuff, especially in Commander, which a lot of these products seem to aim towards, they're going to end up shooting themselves in the foot because people are like, I don't need to buy this. It's nice to get cool new arts and stuff, but I don't need this.
Yeah, and. I'll be honest with you, when I went, and I've used proxies usually in the past as vanity pieces, as that's a cool artwork, that's a proxy artist, and I was putting a new Commander deck together, and I needed some expensive cards, and I remember I opened up my trade folder, and I went, they're all somewhere else, and I normally would take them out of the other decks and put them in the new one, and I didn't really want to do that. I end up kind of losing track of which deck has which, card in it, and I just went and I went to Redacted and, got some high quality proxies made, and they on the backs of them say fake, so there's no confusion, but it felt amazing. And I just got them in the mail and I put them in my deck, and I say to people before I play it, by the way, I had to proxy up, the expensive cards. No one cares.
Two of my Dockside Extortions are proxies. They don't look like Dockside Extortions.
That's one of the ones I proxied. That's one of the ones I proxied.
One of them is a lobster version of me. It's not actually Dockside. It's just a weird one
right.
that Sheepwave sent me. But the point is, why are we buying more of these things if it's not a sanctioned? Well, there's an argument this is what Commandfest is for, right? It's to push people towards not proxying again. If you want to go to a big event and play with people,
players on the large don't care about proxies.
No one's gonna snitch on other people having proxies. Right? That's just not gonna happen. But that could be part of their snitching. You have the term snitching in America, right?
No. I mean, who would do that? No
one would. Dockside. But I do wonder if sanctioning Commander in this capacity is an attempt to give it some of that legitimacy that stops people from doing that. No one's gonna care because otherwise, what's the point of a Commandfest, really? Because
No. Yeah. So we've been
upsides, positives. Any positives, Brian?
Yeah, but a lot of positives. I actually think this is the best Master set ever made in terms of reprints. Normally, one of the biggest problems I have with Master sets is they have upshifted some of the most needed reprints. In this case, they did not. There are still upshifts that happened in previous Master sets, like I believe Cavern of Souls, which that one always ticked me off that they made that one a mythic when it was printed as a rare and Avacyn Restored originally. Yeah. And so they haven't downshifted that again. But you already mentioned it. They could have upshifted Force of Negation and Mana Drain to mythic, and they didn't. They're both at rare, right? Mana Drain's at rare too? Or no, that's a mythic. That's a mythic.
Been mythic for a while now, yeah.
That's BS. But the fact that they didn't upshift Teferi's Protection, they didn't upshift several others, is fantastic.
They did upshipped technically. This is a technicality. Dockside Extortionist, because you don't get mythics other than the face cards in Commander product.
Right.
So it's originally a rare, and they could have printed it a rare, which would have helped. And they said,
would have.
No, this one goblin who extorts people at the docks is a mythical creature. The singular goblin that asks for money to get on his boat. Mythical. That's the equivalent of... Brian, in the canon of Magic, that's the equivalent of a Progenitus or an Eldrazi, Brian. The Dockside Extortionist.
I'll reframe it as they didn't upshift as much as they normally do. Smothering Tithe is still a rare.
Yeah,
everyone needs the Smothering Tithe. It's a rare. I think the aesthetics of the super art is fantastic. It is the best super art I've ever seen. They brought in old Magic artists to do it. I wish that the entire Double Master set, from common to mythic, every card had a super art version. I wish that the collector boosters were 100% super art, with them being a kind of lottery style inclusion in the regular packs. That's what I wish I had seen. I love the super art. I think I might try and collect one of everyone just to have. I love it, and I think it's beautiful. And the reprints are all great. There are very few dud rares. There's a few of them, but it feels like there's a lot fewer than normal. There's no Cloud Goat Ranger. Yeah, you think there's a few too many? I mean, it's like we could crack the numbers, I suppose, and I will in my Is It Worth It to Buy video. But I feel that they did a very good job of asking the question, is this card played somewhere? And I would go through, like, maybe it was tougher when it was modern, and it's like, why is Cloud Goat Ranger in this when it's a modern Masters set? Oh, it's for draft. And here you can even say, like one of the dud rares is, like, you've got the original Elder Dragon, right? T-Neb and a couple of the others. And it's like, well, even in Commander, people like those as like a classic aesthetic. So even though that card is worthless in like 70 cents, at least it's something that people will be like, I got to build a T-Neb deck, or I got to put him in my Dragons deck. Yeah. At least it has a home. At least it can get played with. Cloud Goat Ranger, give me a break.
There's a few rares in here that I like. So Fiery Justice is the one that stands out to me as like, it's a card that in Limited is kind of gross. You don't want to face it. It's at rare, so you see it less. Yeah. But also, like, no one wants it for Commander either. So there's just no argument for being this 20-cent rare being in the sets. There's a few of them, but on the whole, it's relatively good. Do you not think? And this is more of a negative again, but you know about Teneb and all the dragons, and then all the super arts of the other 3-color and 2-color things. The alternate arts for the original 2011 pre-con cards, like what's the monster that's got a T-Rex arm? What's his name?
What?
The graveyard. Mimeoplasm. Mimeoplasm. Oh. He's got a T-Rex for an arm.
All right.
Oh, you fake fan. You don't even know, Brian.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You were like, it's the thing. Graveyard. Fake fan. I didn't know graveyard. Graveyard.
Commander, really popular format. Magic the Gathering's a card game. 2011 is a year. T-Rex is a dinosaur. Mimeoplasm's made out of ooze. Anyway.
How is it you forgot the name of one of the most iconic commanders and I'm being yelled at? How is it you forgot what one of the most iconic commanders is called and I'm getting grief?
I said T-Rex for an arm, and you're like, I don't know what that is. I don't know. You sound like proper old man. I don't know what that is. So it's a T-Rex part. Of course you know what a T-Rex is. Anyway, why are they in this set and not Legends 2, which is the set that should have this stuff? Because it's arbitrarily D&D themed.
Because it needed to be Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to Lord of the Rings being modern legal?
I am not. No, I am. Actually, no, I am. We'll come to that in a second. I am. The last Commander set being Baldur's Gate was it was so unnecessary. It's led to this as well, where like all these reprints that should have been in the Commander product couldn't be. They literally just stopped themselves. Like a creative block almost. It's dumb. I am excited for Lord of the Rings, Brian. I've got to this point where I don't care anymore.
No, but I don't care anymore. That's
Brian,
I've been leading
October
into that.
October 7th, right? Okay, that date. Yeah. In Legacy, both squirrel guns and pink teddy bears become legal through Unhinged, or whatever the hell it's called. And Space Marines, Necrons, and Tyranids become legal. I am going to get a pink teddy bear. Brian, make eye contact, please. I want to make sure I'm passed out. I'm going to get a pink teddy bear, and he's going to hold a bolt gun, and he's going to shoot, I don't know, Grizzlebrine in the face in Legacy. That's it, Brian. The floodgates are open. I hope you like Fortnite.
I hate it so much.
Next year, Brian, we're going to be playing Commander at Card Kingdom. I hate it so much. And I'm going to get my deck out, and it's going to have a background. The background is flossing. I'm like, this is my Rafika the Many, and he now flosses. and I'm going to have a Fortnite floss dance, Brian. You can't see it, but I'm kind of flossing underneath the camera. This is Magic now, Brian. Modern's going to have Gandalf as an archetype. And Legacy is going to have Space Marines firing squirrel
They're never going to be able to reprint those Lord of the Rings cards because of the IP.
No, they can. They've shown they can.
They're going to with the alternate name or whatever.
But the problem is they're going to do the Secret Lair thing for Stranger Things, which means they can only reprint like 5 of them at any one time, or like 10, which creates another stopgap. So you are right, they can and they can't. It's just a whole load of more staples. So Gandalf's negation, or whatever his counterspell is.
Why are you doing this to me? I was just going into how much I loved Double Masters, and it was the greatest reprint set of all time, and now I feel like crap. Why are you doing this? I was so happy and excited, and I was going on about, and you're just like I am going to destroy this person's soul.
If you love this set that much, Brian, we wouldn't have spent half an hour running about the price.
I love the set. I don't love the price. Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say best set ever, worst price ever?
I'm absolutely, I'm in agreement with you, but I just thought a bit of a portent for the future. But except it's going to be called Gandalf's Portent, and we can only reprint it once every 3 years.